Hi everyone, my name is Troy Coleman, and this is my digital story submission for my social change project. For my project, I chose environmental awareness, focusing specifically on non-native invasive plant species of bufflegrass. So to start, let's take a look at what bufflegrass is and the effects that it has. So bufflegrass is a perennial grass that was brought in from Africa. It's an invasive species to the Sonoran Desert and Southwest United States. That's where it threatens the desert ecosystems by outcompeting native plants and alters the fire patterns of the desert. It has the potential to transform the Sonoran Desert ecosystem from a diverse assortment of plants to essentially what is a grassland monoculture. Bufflegrass was brought to Arizona in the 1930s for erosion control due to increased urban development, and it began expanding rapidly more in the 1980s. If left unchecked, bufflegrass will dominate the desert landscape and can cause regular fast moving wildfires, the aftermath, which you can see right here. So, here we have my systems theory analysis. The causes for bufflegrass being brought in was due to severe erosion that was brought on by urban development, which caused changes to the natural desert landscape. And the native plant species do not grow quickly enough or spread quickly enough to really adapt to that kind of change. So bufflegrass was brought in as a preventative measure for the erosion. The problem with bufflegrass, though, is that it spreads so quickly it can choke off native plants, which can cause species to go extinct. And it's very susceptible to fire. It can catch fire very quickly and burn very hot and very fast, which just destroys all the landscape around it, and it destroys other natural food sources that native animals depend on. So then that can move out other animal species from our herbivores all the way up to our carnivore species, which depend on those herbivores. And bufflegrass would not just be contained to this region, it can quickly spread to other regions and threaten other surrounding desert areas. It is mainly a desert plant, but it still grows up into our mountain areas, but it would spread to our neighboring deserts like the Mojave Desert and the White Sands area. So now that we know what bufflegrass is and the dangers that it poses, the real question is, what can we do about it? And one thing that I learned is that while chemicals or herbicides can be effective in eliminating it, it's also effective at eliminating the native species because bufflegrass grows so closely and so intertwined with all of our Sonoran desert plants. You eliminate all the native plants in the same process, use chemicals. So for the best solution, I turned to a group called the Sonoran Desert Weed Whackers. The Sonoran Desert Weed Whackers are a volunteer group started by the Hanson family in 2000. They've been focusing mainly on the removal of bufflegrass in Tucson Mountain Park, although they do work in other areas as well. They work every third Saturday of the month, and they work about 4 to 5 hours during those times. And they have smaller groups that also work on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. Not long after they started, they got involved with Pima County as well. And now the Pima County support staff provides transportation to and from the work sites, as well as a lot of the tools that the volunteers use in the extraction of the bufflegrass. The weed whackers reflect the social change model through a few of the key values there. One is common purpose. Everyone who goes out to volunteer for these jobs has the same goal of the removal of bufflegrass. And in doing so, it really makes you realize your citizenship, that you belong to this, not just this group, but the whole Sonoran Desert ecosystem as a whole. And another value that they exercise is commitment. To keep back bufflegrass, it actually takes many years worth of effort because once you pull it out of an area, there are still seeds in the ground, so it is going to grow back in that area. You have to continually go back and go back until there's nothing left to grow. After you've pulled it all out and it's died off, then have you completely cleared that area. So for my community engaged service project, I actually volunteered one weekend to go out with the weed whackers and tackle some bufflegrass. This right here is a before photo of one of the areas where we pulled bufflegrass out of. And this is the after photo of the same area. And you can really see the difference that it makes when you pull it out. Our natural plants, they actually have a good spacing to them, which you can't tell when it's completely covered in that bufflegrass. And just so you know, I am in the red shirt representing the University of Arizona back there. So, for my personal understanding, my biggest growth was in my consciousness of self. I did learn that I deeply care about our desert area and for the landscape that it is and for the beauty that it provides, and want to do what I can to keep it that way. And that brings me up to commitment. It does take a commitment. As I said before, buffalo grass keeps coming back because of the seeds. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and a lot of devotion to make sure that it is eliminated from an area. And also, I learned that I am I do have citizenship in the community. It's not just about me; it is a bigger problem. It's about treating our desert and working together with others to help preserve our desert and keep it the natural landscape that it is. If this is a cause you think you would like to get involved in to help with the change, I encourage you to visit a couple of websites, either the Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum website or bufflegrass.org. And Bufflegrass is Bufflegrass. And either of those will show you any volunteer opportunities that may be in your area. I'd like to give thanks to Marilyn Hanson, the founder of the Sonoran Desert Weed Whackers, and also to Doug Siegel and Christine Hakanga of Pima County. Thanks for your help.